Hello.
Hey, Will.
Hello. It's always fun. It's always fun dancing behind the scenes to that.
I
That
know.
intro music.
I wish we could share that part.
I know. That's
Our
just
great
for us.
dance
Though.
moves.
That's just for us. Let's do the quick welcome. Hello,
Yeah.
friends. Welcome to Somewhat Useful. I am Will Myers.
And I'm Christy Price.
And on this show, we'll be discussing the topics shaping the world of digital entrepreneurship and tackling questions about Squarespace and web design. We're figuring this world out one website at a time and hope you find this somewhat
useful.
This is another live episode, Christy. We're just rolling right along with our YouTube lives.
I don't know if we're getting any better, but I'm a little less anxious each time. So
I am getting a little bit less anxious each time.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful guest on today, Dreyah.
So excited.
Very excited about this. But what have you been up to the last couple of weeks? It's good to see you again.
It is good to see you too. Kind of the same old here, just doing a little bit of client work and working on digital products. So it's been good.
You went to a Canva day, didn't you? Or a Canva half day? I just saw something about you being
totally forgot about that. Yes. Yeah. So Canva has an office here in Austin, and apparently, unbeknownst to me, they do these learn days occasionally. And someone else that I'd met through a Squarespace meetup that I host here in Austin reached out and said, "Hey, I can bring a +1. Do you want to come?" Like, of course. Yeah. So we show up at Canva headquarters. They've got a photo station, a cookie station where you get to design your own cookie. They have cocktails. We do an hour of presentations. There's some great networking events. We hear about the new Canva features, and then they give us like heavy apps for dinner and more cocktails. So
wow, that's
like they did it up nice. Yeah.
That's
and I'm like,
nice.
How can I get on the list and come back?
I know.
So
I would like
fingers
to come
crossed.
Back. Well, yeah, that's amazing. How many people ended up going? That sounds really fun.
That's a great question. I think about 100 probably.
Wow.
Somewhere like 80 to 100. Yeah, it was really nice. And they've got a great spot for it. So it was a lot of fun.
In-person events, that's where it's at.
And you were at an in-person event last night at the Squarespace headquarters in New York. And I think there have been a couple of those. And every time I see those in the release notes, I get this FOMO. I'm like, I want to fly to New York and go to this event. How is that?
It really is. It was great. So the event was sponsored by Squarespace Circle. It was like Spark New York design. I don't really know. I didn't really know what it was that I was getting into, to be quite honest, but I just saw it in the Circle email and I was like, this sounds fun. Let's just jump in. And to my delight, all the Squarespace Circle team members were there. So it was really fun seeing like the team, the whole gang.
So jealous.
Really enjoyed that. Yeah, and I'm really feeding into the FOMO there. But the event was put on by Spark, that company, and I didn't find it very inspiring. I didn't find the content of it.
You didn't get the spark of inspiration.
I didn't get the spark of inspiration. What it was these 3 panelists who are managers or executives or something at big design firms like Pentagram and these massive design firms.
That would be my worst nightmare of a job. I'm so sorry.
That's what I came away with thinking. And that was the majority of what they were talking about was at these big firms. They were talking about their job and everything. And it was a lot of just like managing creatives, which is, as a creative, it's very difficult.
Herding cats. Have you met us?
Cats. Yeah. It's very difficult. And then sort of like mixing that with like corporate outputs and like managing spreadsheets and stuff. And their jobs as they described them kind of sounded miserable to me. To be quite honest. I love building. I love getting into it, but just
I'm an implementer. I love creating things. And the times that I have been in positions where I've had to be in charge of other people and they get to do the fun stuff, I'm so sad. I don't like that.
I don't get my creativity. Yeah. And to be fair, they're probably making a lot of money. And there's probably a lot of good that can come from that, I'm sure. But there's just like, I don't know, there's like a certain fulfillment that I think I would lose and it wouldn't be.
I think that's why we do what we do. Like, I think there are people who have a gift of like, I've had terrible bosses and I've had great bosses. And there are people that definitely have a gift for bringing out the best in their team and getting them to create amazing stuff. And so I can see how that would be so fulfilling for those people, but that is not me. I want to be doing the things.
Yeah. Jen says absolutely painful. And Yeah, the job itself does
Yeah.
very, very painful.
Yeah.
But you're right. There are some people that have that gift of like working with creatives and pulling them out, and they're the best people. If they're like a really good editor, because any creative
Yes.
needs a really good editor.
Mhm.
And but these jobs didn't sound like editing. It sounded like, how do we do mergers and acquisitions and get these bigger contracts? And I was like, ugh. Anyways,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
not my cup of tea, but it was so wonderful getting into the Squarespace headquarters. They just have a beautiful office.
They do. They do. And I feel like, every now and then I'm like, do I want a real job? And then something like that will happen. I'll be like, nope.
No, don't want that.
I'm good.
Don't want that. But Squarespace is fun. Squarespace is fun to get in there, and I would love to be doing more of that.
Yeah. And
Getting
well,
into the office.
speaking of Squarespace, they have a couple of updates since our last
Yes, they do.
live. And one of them is something that used to be there and then they took it away and now they've brought it back. So if you use Acuity scheduling, you used to be able to edit the text that that you see on the client scheduling page. And then I think it was like a year or so ago, they removed the ability to edit that. And now it's back. So
it kind of sounds like the HBO Max branding
Yes.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're HBO. No, we're actually Max. No, just
Yeah.
kidding. We're HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really great. I think if you have classes or something else instead of just like one-on-one bookings, if it's, if you need to use different language, you can do that again. So I think a lot of people that maybe left may be coming back to Acuity for that. So
good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I haven't used Acuity in Squarespace. Just because none of my products sort of fit that need. But it's been interesting sort of watching that. That seems to be like a company they acquired and it just kind of like sat in Squarespace for a bit, like as Acuity.
It's been an interesting ride because they bought it and they brought it under the Squarespace umbrella. Then they got rid of the name Acuity. They just called it scheduling. Then they brought back the name Acuity. Now it's still under the Squarespace umbrella and they're bringing back features that they removed. So it's been like, I don't know what the end game is there, but
I don't either, but I appreciate the movement. There's at least movement.
Something's happening.
Is better than no movement, so I will take it.
Speaking of movement,
they have also moved the Pages panel UI where you can access sort of like the website, custom CSS area, code injection areas. They've moved it yet again.
So every time that happens, I feel like I've run to the grocery store and I come home and someone has rearranged all the furniture in my house. And I'm like, where is this?
Where did it all go?
Where is this?
I know.
So if you're not familiar with this trick yet, if you're in the Squarespace back end of your website, if you use the / key on your keyboard, which is also the question mark key, you can type in like custom CSS or whatever you're looking for, and it will take you directly there. And you don't have to wade through the menus or wonder where something is today.
That / is, and that's honestly, I saw this notification that they had moved it. I didn't even realize they had moved it because I'm just so in the habit of using / for everything. It's
I feel like they've been moving things around, but I feel like this last one, I'm like, okay, this one, I can see where we've been going this whole time. Like it's starting to make sense to me. I feel like, it's like you don't know what the end game is. And so you're like, why is all this happening? But I think we're seeing glimpses of like what we were getting to. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You've got it. It's going to make sense.
I know. I can kind of have sympathy for him a bit just because it is there. If you want to add a lot, like adding a lot of features, making a feature-rich platform and not moving stuff around are incompatible. Like there is a trade-off there.
For sure.
Yeah, we can kind of see where it's going and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But where it's going, where is Squarespace going? Where would you like it to go? Let's talk about our top three feature requests for Squarespace. We wrote these down. Would you like to start?
I will start. My first is please let us put portfolio items in drafts because that is the hardest thing when you're creating a portfolio collection. Once you create an item, it's live on your site. So you can't work on it over time and then publish it like a blog post. It's like, it's just there. And I had a note. It's so funny. We wrote this last week and I said, and a thumbnail that pulls from the asset library because that was a weird user interface bug. And then on Monday, I was working with a client and I'm like, okay, so now it's weird and you have to, and I'm like, wait, you can now load it from your asset library. It's fixed. So
It
Yay,
was like
Squarespace.
a little silent fix there. I know,
Nobody mentioned
they
it.
didn't mention
Yeah,
it, and then
it
all of a
just
sudden, boom,
started
we can
working.
add. I know portfolios are like
Yeah,
it feels like it's a very distinctly different collection type than everything
yeah,
else.
yeah,
And the drafts thing, that's big. We'll come back to that.
yeah.
But so that's number
Um,
1. What about number 2?
oh, better tablet display behavior. It's
Mm,
just I know
mm,
that they're working on this, but it still drives me crazy because every now and then you'll have a client who has an iPad that they use and you're like, "Just don't look there. Just
don't
don't look."
do
'Cause
it.
they're like weird spacing things and
But
it's, yeah. Yikes.
it's always the worst to tell a client, like, to have to explain to the client why
Yeah.
it won't be perfect. It just, like, grates me as
Mhm.
someone who wants to build things
Yeah,
well.
but I know they're working on it.
They are.
It'll get better.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my third item is something that I swear I've seen on other platforms. So sometimes when you're working with a client and they've like done some initial creation of pages, you
Mhm.
get some wacky URL slugs like contact dash us dash one, and you
Mhm.
need to fix it. But when you change that URL slug for the page, you have to track down everywhere on the site that it was linked to and update all those. And I
Mm.
would love for it to be like, hey, you updated this slug, let me update it across the site for you and save you all that, time
Yeah.
and effort and know that something's going to slip through the cracks.
Mhm.
So
That's
I would love
I
auto
hadn't even considered
updating
that.
URL slugs across
Yeah,
the
that
site.
would 3 great feature requests. Just a quick
Thank
recap.
you.
Portfolio items and drafts, that's a
Mhm.
good one. Better tablet view, like, we just
Yep.
need that. That just needs to come, you
Mhm.
know? And then the auto updating URL slugs, I like
Yeah.
that. Those are
What are your
3
three?
solid ones. Mine, we did
Mhm.
these independently, just so you all know. My
Yes.
number 1 is the exact same as your number 1. Portfolio
Portfolio
items.
items. Yeah.
My, my tabs plugin and my accordion plugin, I use them all over my website, and they will connect to portfolios and pull in content from that.
Mhm.
But you can't add, so I can't add new accordions or add new tabs
Yes.
without it being in draft. So that's like a big one that
Yeah.
I run into all the time. Draft
Yep.
portfolio items. The second one is the ability to re-download our assets. Like once
Mhm.
I've uploaded an image or once I've uploaded a video or something into my asset library, would
Mhm.
love to be able to re-download that. There's no way to sort of get those. You can jump in the web inspector and download the images, but you can't do that with the videos because they come across, they're saved as blob.
Yeah, and
Um,
I right click, like I get all the way to that image in the library and I can right click to download the
mhm.
images, but I haven't tried it for
Yeah.
videos. So there's no way to do that, huh?
No way to do that for videos because
Ah,
they pull them through as blobs, which is just like, chunks, and it just you can't
yeah.
download it. The images, yeah, you can do the right click thing, and that's alright.
But it's a
Um,
pain. You have to
but it
like
is
go
a
all the
pain.
way
It's just
into the yeah, it'd be great
more
if you could just be
things.
like, give
Right,
me my things.
right. Just right there, just bundle them up,
Yeah.
download.
Yeah.
That's what I would like.
Yeah.
And then just a shout out to our friends Miko and Liz. I just feel like I have to
Yes.
say this. First name
And
only
Kirsten.
option, and Kirsten. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone. First name only option in newsletter blocks. When you add a
Yes.
newsletter block, you have to, if you're adding the name field, it has to
Mhm.
be a first name and last name.
And
That's
there's some
a
script
little
you can add, some code to get rid of the last name, but it's clunky and
It's
like
funky.
nobody
Yeah.
else does this.
Yeah. No one else.
Yeah.
I
No one
know. I
else.
just
Yeah.
just just give me that first name. That's all I want. And I'm gonna read off a couple that came through in the comments in here. So
Yeah.
Jen, who we had on last week, she
Yes.
said more moving portfolio items from collection to collection. That would be a great feature. You can do that with blogs. It's kind of hidden, but if you
Yes.
add a blog, you can move
Mhm.
that to other blog items.
Mhm.
And what was this other one? Can we please add the ability to allow just author contributors on blogs again? Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
authors for on blogs. I like that.
Mhm.
That's a good one.
Or create a member forum feature.
Or
Wow.
create a member forum
That'd
feature.
be
Oh,
cool.
yeah, member forum feature.
That'd
Having
be
some
cool.
forums in Squarespace. Ooh,
Mhm.
that would be good. That would be good. All right, so let's move on because we have
Mhm.
a wonderful episode, wonderful
Yes.
guest on today. We'll be chatting with Dreyah Bohlen-Harrington. But before we bring her on, let's give a quick shout out to our good friends over at Square Kicker.
Yes. Thank you, Square Kicker, for sponsoring this season of our podcast. Want to deliver exceptional Squarespace websites faster? Explore the Square Kicker template store, premium designs built for designers like you. Each template serves as a customizable foundation, reducing design time while maintaining the unique touch your clients expect. Visit squarekicker.com to learn about scaling your business with templates and get 15% off all SquareKicker products with code SOMEWHAT15. Created by expert Squarespace designers from around the world, these templates install with just a few clicks and are fully customizable for each client's unique needs. Each template features stunning SquareKicker animations, which you can customize with the Pro extension included in your purchase. With dedicated 5-star support, hey Shannon, you'll deliver standout websites while growing your design business.
Love us some SquareKicker.
We do.
All right. Well, let's bring in Dreyah.
All right. I'm adding Dreyah now. Hey.
Dreyah, it's so good to see you.
We're so happy you're here.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Dreyah Bohlen-Harrington is just a mom. She's just a designer, just a template creator who just happens to have helped over 400 clients globally, bringing personality and strategy to their online space. When she's not designing, you can find her spending time with her family, wandering through nature, or trying not to kill yet another houseplant.
Same.
So very much feel you on that one. Very much feel you. Dreyah, it's so good to see you.
Yes,
so happy to have you here. Yeah. So I want to kick us off by, I was looking through your portfolio and I saw you designed a website for none other than Kelly Clarkson. So I have to ask, like, how did that come about? What was that like?
Yeah, so that whole process was actually kind of crazy. But honestly, the most chill, laid back client I've probably ever had. Yes.
Amazing.
Wait,
yes. So
were you actually interacting with her?
Not with her. So I interacted with her producer. His name's Aben. Super cool. Like, and then now randomly, it's so awesome. He'll send me emails and he's like, hey, we're up in Montana, like Casey and I. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm just here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
So funny. But when the project came through, I was like, I think this might be fake because it was like kellyclarkson.com. Yes. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
that wasn't fake. Yeah.
Feels like
I met with him. Yeah, I met with him. And he was like, yeah, this got put on my plate for somehow. So I just want to move to Squarespace. I've used it a couple times and I just need some help. So yeah.
Amazing.
That's so cool. So fun. How did that, is this website live? Like, could people go to see it now? Like kellyclarkson.com?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And we just updated it too. So we update it for albums, or I think she has a Regency in Vegas right now. So we just updated it. So
how fun.
Just
congrats.
Cool. Yeah.
What a great project.
She kind of like, she grew up with, like she was the American Idol person, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I first remember her. And I feel like I've kind of like grown up with her a little bit because like right when we all like voted for her and we were like, come on, Kelly. And now she's like this big star and now you're building websites for her. That's really cool.
Yeah. I was like, if I add this to my portfolio, are people going to be like, is she serious? Is this real?
No.
Oh, I had no doubt. I had no doubt. It's so
I was like, just here in my kitchen table office, just designing Kelly Clarkson's website, I guess. So
Love
funny.
It.
Yes.
I love it. Well, I know in the past year, you've had some pretty big transitions in your business. So what's that been like for you?
It's been just crazy. I take every day, just day by day. Every day's different. But yeah, it's so for those of you who don't know, which I don't know how you don't, it's all over my social media. I had a baby. So Leo's 10 months old. And you know, when I was pregnant, I was like, this is great. I'm getting so much done. I don't go out. I don't do anything. Like I just put some projects out like crazy. And then I went into the whole maternity leave thing. I was like, oh, I'll probably need like 2 weeks off. No, that's a lie. Yep. I did not need.
You were like, I'm just going to take off 2 weeks. That's going to be funny.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I could for sure do a coaching call or something here and there in 2 weeks. No. Like I was telling you guys earlier, God was like, here's a baby that doesn't like to sleep and who's going to miss you too much to go to sleep and has FOMO. So I was like, oh, nap times, like I'll get so much done.
Get so much done.
So much done. Yeah. No. So I just take every day by day. I've had to make some changes in my business, which is okay. And it's honestly just made me, I think it makes me a good mom, but also just a better designer because I feel like my designs are more intentional now. So
how has your like, what are the things that adjusted in your business in terms of your work schedule throughout the day? Like, when do you get work done? How do you manage clients in a way that's not like, oh yeah, I can do anything for you at any time because I'm always available. Like, how has your business shifted over the last 6 months?
Yes, I was just thinking about this. It's like, I used to be like, oh, you know what? I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. I'll learn how to do that for you. No, now I'm like, sorry, I don't do that. I'm not going to learn it. I have no time. But I can make your Squarespace website really, really, really good.
Right.
But it was a transition because, I'd work when I got up in the morning to whenever I was done at night. But now it's like during the day, I maybe get 30 minutes increment times where he might go to sleep. He might like watch a TV show for 30 minutes. And then during that time, I really try to focus on like my social media clients or responding to emails. So I get that done during the day. And then at night, once we go to bed, it's like 8 p.m. to about midnight or 1 a.m. I'm just kind of trying to get into flow and get these websites done. So
So when does your day start? When do you wake up? When does Leo wake up, I should say?
We're usually awake around 7:30, maybe 8 if we're lucky. And when they tell you that, oh, keep your baby up at night, or if he stays up past his bedtime, he'll sleep in. That's not true.
That's not true.
Not true.
Yeah.
No, it's not true. So I don't recommend keeping a baby up an hour or two past your bedtime because you will be up at the same time throughout the night and not get your work done and then be up at the same time in the morning.
So do you feel like it sounds like you've had to kind of scale back on the projects that you take on. So you're doing the things that you know how to do. You're like, yes, I'm confident I can do this. I'm not figuring things out and learning like new platforms or anything like that. I'm wondering, do you feel like you're doing like half the work you used to do over the course of a month or 30%, or you're like, nope, I'm getting it all done. Same amount of work. I'm just curious how it's changed.
Yeah, I used to be the person too that would take on way too many projects at one time. So I would be juggling probably like 8 to 10 different websites. I mean, between a one-page scrolling, a full website design, and the deadlines were all different. But now I've raised my prices and I'm taking on just a few at a time. Just things that can be more manageable. I've also had to take out coaching call sessions, meetings that go longer than 30 minutes. I usually try to push back into the evenings once my husband gets home or the weekends. So like discovery calls have been great just for new full custom website builds, but any hour coaching calls or like client check-ins that'll take longer. Have to save them for evenings or weekends. And it's actually been working out really great. And the clients I've been getting have been awesome. And one thing I've been doing is just, I'm very upfront with all my clients. When I meet with them, I'm like, just so you know, I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom. So if you need me at 10 or 11 a.m. on a Wednesday, you probably aren't going to hear from me. So
but I think that's a great point that you're setting those expectations early with the client. So there are no surprises along the way. It's just like, this is how it works. If that's a good fit for you, I'd love to work with you. If not, here's some other designers who have different schedules. I love that.
Do you feel like your boundary setting skills have gotten better, or do you feel like you've just you're now in an environment where you have to do this and it's forcing you? Like what of those two things have kind of shifted the most for you?
Yeah, I've always been really bad at setting boundaries.
Me too.
So
Oh,
this
me
has
too.
been so good for me. Like
Mhm.
having him, I'm like, I feel like I'm just a better person. Like
Yeah.
I can set boundaries and people are like, okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is this how it always is? Or are they like, okay, because you aren't sleeping and you have a like,
Right.
right. Are they just being nice?
Or
No,
you
but
could have been doing this all along. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Yeah, no, so setting boundaries like has kind of come with my new role that I'm taking
Mhm.
on. So, but it's been so good and clients
Sure.
have been so understanding. And that's one thing, like if I could tell any new designer, like set your boundaries up front. And then if you want to throw in extra stuff or do extra things for them, just do it and then let them know. And then maybe they'll be super excited about it and
Yeah.
tip you or do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But set your boundaries and your expectation, like just make sure everything's set when you're doing these new clients. Yeah.
Totally.
Mhm.
Was there anything that you let go of? Be like, I just physically can't do this. And you realized, wow, I could have done that years ago. Like I did not need to be doing that in my business. Was like, I'm curious about like of the fat of your business. What did you trim off that was like, oh, anyone should be trimming this fat off in their business?
Yes, the finance side. I have been so terrible about it because I'm like, no, I need to go through my business or my accounts and I need to do all this, but an accountant can do that.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. Hand that stuff off right away. Right when you get started, just hand it off, let them do it, let them take care of it. They probably know better than you what to do.
Okay, I need to hear that because I do all my own bookkeeping and I hate it. Like it's the worst part of my business. Why don't I just find an accountant or a bookkeeper who can do that for me? I needed to hear that, Dreyah. Thank you.
I didn't realize how much time I was not wasting, but just spending on at the end of the year, putting it all together. And then my stress was just like out of control. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is unnecessary. But the other thing, writing proposals and pricing guides for clients, I did not realize how much time I was spending doing that. Something I quickly found out, I think it was like a month or two into being Leo's mom. I was like, oh, why am I spending 45 minutes writing a proposal?
Yeah. Copy, paste, duplicate.
So you have a template and you just work from that, the template?
Yeah. Yep. And then like Zoom has I think it's called Fathom, the AI note taker.
Yes.
So now it can take notes and then ChatGPT or whatever platform, just say, write me a pricing guide for this meeting I just had. And it's right there. And
so on the AI subject, you've been pretty vocal about using AI more and more in your process and just how you're building websites. What are the tools what's in your AI stack right now? What can you not live without? And what are the most helpful tools?
Yeah, so ChatGPT is always a go-to. I should probably just make it when I open my browser, just have it right there. Like down to questions, like just questions about anything. I'll just type in now, like instead of going to Google. It's so funny how like the transition there has been.
I've actually done the same thing. I've set my home screen. So whenever I open a new tab, it's ChatGPT. Like that's where it goes. And I just ask that because I use it significantly more than Google.
I'm finding too that like there are certain things that I ask ChatGPT for, but other things that I might have Googled in the past, I now search Reddit because I want to know what real people thought.
Yes, I've noticed. I've been using Reddit more too.
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay, I'm taking note because this is so funny. Yesterday or the day before, I don't know, all my days go together. My stepmom goes, "Let me look that up on Reddit," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I've been hearing Ren is not my wife, Ren. She's not like a forums person, but she's like the one that brought Reddit into my life. She's like, oh, ask that on Reddit. Like, where should we get food? Ask Reddit.
Real people.
Yeah.
Real people.
I know.
Yeah.
Reddit,
that's crazy.
Reddit's making a comeback. That's good to know.
But I still love AI, and I want to hear about your other AI tools, Dreyah, and what else you're using them for. Yeah.
So Canva's AI tools are pretty great and easy to use. Another small transition kind of side note, I've been doing a lot more social media marketing for clients. That's kind of been fitting into my schedule a lot. So Canva and ChatGPT are my best friends when creating content and getting ideas.
Yes.
And it's okay. So many people are like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to seem like I'm not working hard or what. No. Let them give you ideas.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say those two are probably the most used things I use right now. And then Fathom AI note taker is great. So
how are the new Canva AI tools? I haven't really used any of them. What's like give us like a high level overview of like what they have that you're using most often.
Oh my gosh. I think so with images, you can remove backgrounds and then add in new backgrounds. You can like swap. So if I'm holding like a cup or something, I can highlight the cup and switch it out for a notepad or a laptop, anything. So nice. Stuff like that is I just think it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Just because too, like with client stuff, if they're like, oh, this image, I didn't want this in the background. I'm like, I could do that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Sure, no problem. I'm not even going to charge you. Yeah.
She's a genius.
Yeah. Like, wow. Yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite feature. I don't know, Christy, you use Canva a lot, don't you?
I do too. And I was actually thinking that you were talking about switching an object to another object. One of the things that I like too is you can pick an object, like if somebody's holding a phone, but it's not the right color case, you can highlight it and change the color of the case to make it like a brand color. So there's like a lot that you can do now too. And they also have this crazy tool where like one of the demos that they did at Canva Day was somebody was giving a presentation and she lived in a small town and she's like, I'm going to have it create a walking tour for all the coffee shops in my town. There are 3. And so she's like, create this. And it created basically an entire like app for her that's like, here's the most efficient path. And it did this beautiful guide to display all the coffee shops on the map. It was insane. And it was just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
oh my gosh.
Spits them out.
Yeah. The things we can do. It's insane.
It really is wild. And both of y'all mentioned sort of switching out stuff. So switching out the color, switching out something. And it's interesting is like these tools, yes, can do that. But I feel like most users are not going to know how to like ask it to do that, or they won't know, oh, if I switch out the color of the iPhone, that will make the image look better. I think a lot of like normal users will just look at an image and be like, something's off, but I don't know what it is.
That's why they still need us.
Yeah. Right. I'm just like convincing myself. Yeah. No, but I think it's that as AI becomes more and more in like everything, because Google just released their VO or VO3?
No
Is that
idea.
what it's called?
Yeah.
VO.
I don't. Yeah.
And it's a video generator, and it's impressive. It's really impressive. But humans are very still needed. Yes. Thank you for that comment. Humans are very much still needed because you have to know what looks bad, and you also have to know how to actually ask it to do the things it needs to do.
Yes.
So I don't see designers sort of being pulled out of this process as long as we learn how to use these tools.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%.
And then they're kind of like paying us now for our expertise in AI and design and all
next tool we need to learn. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
One of the other things I wanted to ask you about, Dreyah, I know you have some templates for sale on the Square Kicker template shop, which is one of the things we gave a shout out to in our ad in the beginning. So I am really curious to know, did you use AI for any of that, like the creation of any of the graphics, or to help you out in any process of creating the templates? And then what do you think is the easiest part of creating a template, and what is the hardest?
Yeah, I didn't use any AI for the templates. The templates were more so designs I had like in the back of my mind that I wanted to use on client sites, and they were like, no. I was like, oh.
But it's so good. Yeah.
Yes. I was like, are you sure? Because I'm just going to make it a template. Yeah. So I didn't use any AI with that. What I do want to get more templates in the shop. So I have been using AI to kind of generate ideas. And I would say probably the easiest part is I don't know, it's like the easiest and the hardest part is the branding. Because it's like, I love this brand, but how can I incorporate this into an entire template? And then it's hard to like build out the logo and just like get that whole part together for the template. Because it's like, how is this going to translate? And am I going to do it right? I guess that's what I kind of struggle with.
I find that's really interesting too, because if you do have like a strong point of view with the brand, it's hard for people to understand how the template can look completely different when they implement their brand. Yeah.
And that was like an idea too, is like doing little videos. Here's how this client transformed this template to look like this. And I think has Squarekicker done that? Maybe I saw a video.
I don't know, but if they haven't,
maybe
that's a great idea.
Don't quote me. Back asleep. No. And Nick and Hannah are going to come after me like, we didn't do that. But I do think people have a hard time just seeing like, how can my stuff fit into this template if it's for this specific industry? So like a restaurant coming in and loving an interior design template, they're like, I love this, but how can I incorporate my brand into it? So I guess that's like what I struggle with most, is like, how can I make this generalized, but still industry specific?
Yeah.
So,
Well, you've done it. I mean, your templates are gorgeous. I feel like you've done a great job. Yeah.
You really have.
Thank you.
Yeah. And another thing that you've created recently is your designer breakbook, which I have ordered. It hasn't arrived yet. I was gonna like hold it up and be like, look, but tell us a little bit about the designer breakbook. Yeah, perfect.
So I made a coloring activity book, and it's for Squarespace designers, designed by Squarespace designers. And I had a lot of fun doing this. I think when I had Leo, I was like, I need just a creative outlet just for my own time. And projects just weren't working for me in the first 2 weeks. So I was like, maybe I need something else to do. And then just being a mom now too, it's like, I get to see all these things that I did when I was little. And I was like, oh my gosh, how fun would it be to make a coloring book that my son can color in, that I made with something that's like so special to me. So, and I just want to raise a little Squarespace community leader and expert. And
yes. His destiny is sealed. Yeah.
So cool. I
thought it would be fun. And thank you. Yeah. And a good resource too for other designers, especially who are just starting out, who don't know of all the free resources or just things that our community has to offer. Because so many designers have really cool things for people to become part of or whatever.
What Dreyah has done is she's gotten a bunch of just sort of images and ideas and thoughts from other people in the Squarespace community and put them into this coloring book. And there's like mazes, and you can color stuff, and you can do word searches, and there's all sorts of fun stuff in here.
And we're in there too.
We're in there. The Somewhat Useful podcast is in there.
Yeah.
This is just one of the coolest ideas. I really love this. And I think everyone should buy one of these books because it's just really neat.
And if you are listening to the podcast, or if you come back and watch the replay, we'll drop the link in the show notes. So you'll have that for the designer breakbook.
Yeah. It's fun seeing all these like niche things pop up for the Squarespace community. It's really cool.
Yeah. And it's cool. It was cool having designers send like their coloring pages or activity pages, and cool to see everyone's ideas. So
yeah.
Okay. One last question for you. You heard us do the top feature request for Squarespace. Do you have any, and we're putting you on the spot, but do you have any on the top of your head?
I was thinking about this earlier when you guys were talking, and I don't know if I'm just missing it or I just don't know, but it's with Acuity. And I've had to do this recently because I'm working with multiple people on a team. But when you schedule a call, you can only send the confirmation to one email. Is that right?
I think that's correct.
And then I can't figure out a way to get, because it has the Zoom link and all the information there. So I can't figure out how to get that to the other people. So I'm telling the person it's sent to, I'm like, can you forward that? But if I could just add another email, that would be great.
Yeah.
That's funny. That sounds like it would be a great thing for them to update. And I also really very much feel you on the hesitancy to say anything, because I'm always like, maybe I'm just using this wrong. It could be there, I'm sure, and I'm not using it. But
Yeah,
okay, so hang tight. We're going to come right back. We got our 3 questions, but we want to do one more sponsor read for our good friends over at Square Kicker. So if you're just joining us, this is Somewhat Useful, a podcast for creative entrepreneurs, but mostly about Squarespace web designers. But we want to thank our friends over at Square Kicker, who are just wonderful, wonderful people. What if you could have unlimited creativity on Squarespace? The Square Kicker Pro extension gives you powerful design control with an intuitive visual UI right in your Squarespace editor. Created by designers for designers, over 100 no-code tools empower you to customize Squarespace far beyond its native capabilities. Visit squarekicker.com for a free trial. No credit card required. Use coupon code SOMEWHAT15 to get 15% off all Square Kicker products. This extension and all the templates we've been talking about, they're all in there. Supercharge your creativity with dramatic scroll effects, custom hover states, unique section layouts, and so much more. I'm going to throw in one more. They just have, what's the horizontal scrolling?
The horizontal scrolling sections.
They added some really cool things recently.
Yeah.
Very worth at least checking out. They have some really, really neat stuff going on over there. With dedicated 5-star support, you'll never face a design challenge alone. The Square Kicker team can't wait to see what you create.
Yeah. And I know I gave a shout out to their support earlier, but I do have to say, like, Will, you do support amazingly well. Square Kicker is also right at their top tier support.
Yeah.
So if you have an issue, they go above and beyond to help you out.
Amazing. They're amazing over there. All right.
Yeah.
So let's jump into our lightning round questions. We got 3 questions we're going to ask you, Dreyah, and Christy's going to start us off.
Yes. And I know the answer to this one, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you have any pets, and do they come to work with you?
Yes, I work at my kitchen table, so they're with me every day, all day. Yes, I have 2 dogs, Hank and Dolly. Dolly's a golden retriever. Hank is a Great Pyrenees German Shepherd mix. So,
I love seeing them on your socials.
Oh, they're
babies and dogs. It's like the best.
My whole feed, babies and dogs.
Just babies and dogs.
That's where I live. It's great.
Throw in a coloring book every now and then.
Yeah. Yep. Here's a template.
What are your top 3 tools in your tech stack?
Ooh, this is a new one that I've added, and I don't know why it's new. I should have used it a while ago, but SEO Space, the extension. Yeah, it's so awesome. Henry does such a great job. So I'd say that one, and then Square Kicker. I install on every website I build. There's just little things now. I'm like, I can't live without that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that one, and then the Squarespace ID Finder. I'm using that constantly. Yep.
3 solid, and these are all like either Squarespace extensions or Chrome extensions. They're all 3 very excellent tools. That's good.
So good. Yes.
Yeah. Love it. Use them all too. And last lightning round question. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh my gosh. I was thinking about this earlier. Oh, okay. One thing that's been popping up on, so this is like a weird way of getting advice, but on my Instagram reels, as I'm just scrolling, there's a reel that keeps popping up, and it says, "You are replaceable everywhere but here." And by here, it's meaning as a parent or a child, a sibling, a friend. And that's so true. I think, I feel like sometimes I can get so caught up in projects and, I have to be the best web designer. I have to be the best person to work with here. But when it comes down to it, there's always other website designers that you can work, that people can work with, but no one else can be the mom or the wife or the husband or the sister that you are. So I always have to kind of come back and be
I love that.
This is the most important role that I'm in right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Sounds like you're setting boundaries in your work. You're getting clarity on like who you are as a person. I love that. Great advice.
Yes.
Really good advice.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dreyah. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a blast.
Dreyah, where can people find you? What's your Instagram handle? And I know you're active there.
I believe it's Dreyah Bohlen Designer. I keep changing things. It's Dreyah Bohlen Designer.
And we'll drop a link in the show notes as well.
Yes. But yeah, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I'm on all the platforms. So
all over.
Yeah.
All
Come be my friend wherever.
Yeah. You had like a TikTok go viral a number of years ago, didn't you? And you got like a
COVID, yes. COVID, we did the toilet bowl trend, me and my dad. And it went viral. Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny. And now I look back, I'm like, COVID was a different time.
Yep.
Wow. We had a lot of time on our hands.
It was weird. For sure.
Yes.
But thank you all so much for joining us. And Dreyah, thank you for joining us as well. This has been really fun. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast if you really like us, and give us a 5-star review if you wouldn't mind, because we want to share this with as many people as possible. Thanks again to our sponsor, Square Kicker, and thanks to our audio engineer, Ricky Gunton. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for joining us live. If you did, hello, Christine, Caxton Communications. Thanks for being here. Jen, I see you in the chat. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
Thank y'all.